fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, for Top 10 on the 10th, I'll be covering my top 10 80s movies. But first, a word from our sponsors. The rules of this top 10 list, well, they're pretty simple. Rule number one, I have to have seen the movie. I mean, obviously, if I haven't seen the movie, it can't be on my top 10 list. Rule number two, the movies have to have been made in the 1980s and released in the 1980s, hence the title Top 10 80s Movies. Rule number three, only one movie per franchise, and that's really just to keep the whole thing fair. And rule number four, because this is an action movie channel, this list is focused on action movies, so it'll only be action movies that were made in the 1980s. Coming in at number 10, we have No Retreat, No Surrender. A fun little movie. I mean, this is like your quintessential 80s martial arts movie. I mean, it's got the stereotypical 80s acting. It's got the stereotypical 80s filming. This is an 80s schlock movie, and it's obvious that it's an 80s schlock movie. I mean, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme's first acting role. He had kind of a supporting role who never really spoke anything in this movie, but it's so much fun. I mean, the cheesiness is why it's a fun movie to watch. I mean, the acting is god-awful, but it's fun, it's entertaining, it's engaging. You really want to see these people. The acting's over the top, but that's common in an 80s martial arts movie. And it's so much fun to watch. It's so much fun to just laugh at and make fun of the bad dialogue. And it's such an entertaining movie. And the martial arts in this movie is absolutely fantastic. And that's why No Retreat, No Surrender comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Kickboxer. Again, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's a fun, entertaining, and engaging movie. The martial arts is absolutely fantastic. It's filmed in Thailand, and it's hard-hitting, it's gritty. You feel the passion. It's got one of the best training montages in all of action movie history. Not only that, but for the ladies out there, the end fight scene, it's two dudes fighting in man thongs, if you're interested in that. I mean, two really buff jack dudes going at each other, fighting in man thongs with like glass and stuff on their hands. I mean, that might not be a motivational factor for the guys, but it might for some of the guys out there. I don't really give a damn. But still, it's a fun movie. It's kind of a stereotypical action martial arts underdog type movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. But it's so much fun to watch. It's so engaging. Dennis Chan really steals the show playing Zien. It's just fantastic. This is easily one of my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movies of all time. It's a fun and engaging movie. The martial arts is just fantastic. It's just so much fun to watch. It's such a spectacular fight. They've got spectacular fight scenes with just phenomenal acting, considering what the movie is. And it's just so much fun to watch. And that's why Kickboxer comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, we have Die Hard. Again, I mean, there's two types of people in the world. Those people who think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and those who are wrong. I mean, Die Hard is just such an iconic film. Such a masterpiece of an action movie. It is just fantastic. Bruce Willis does a fantastic job in his role as John McClane. Just this kind of average guy who's up against the world without any shoes and he's barefoot, fighting against all these terrorists. It's just so much fun to watch. The dialogue is engaging. The acting is spectacular. The sets are just phenomenal. I mean, you don't really get much better than Die Hard. I mean, there are better movies than Die Hard. Obviously, it's number 8 on my list. But it's still such a fantastic movie. Easily one of the best cop movies of all time. It is just fantastic and glorious. And it's my favorite Christmas movie of all time, too. I mean, it's just fantastic. And that's why Die Hard comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have Lethal Weapon. I mean, come on, Mel Gibson at his finest before he went off on his racist tirade and stuff. And you got Danny Glover playing the straight-laced, I'm too old for this nonsense kind of guy. I mean, just one of the ultimate buddy cop movies. I mean, it is fantastic. Just the chemistry between the two of them, it's so much fun to watch. You know, you've got Mel Gibson playing this crazy guy who, yeah, it's not too much of a stretch for him, but he's playing this crazy guy, and he's just going to town, taking care of all his business and all the stuff he's got to do, jumping off buildings, shooting first, shoot later, and after everybody's dead, try and ask some questions kind of cop. And then you got Danny Glover, who's just kind of a straight-laced guy. He's waiting for his retirement. He's just going about the day and just he's too old for this nonsense. He's doing it because he's got to back up his partner and because, you know, people's lives are at stake because he's a cop, but he really doesn't want to do this stuff. He doesn't want to be involved with it. And it shows, and just the chemistry is fantastic. The acting is fantastic. The story is fantastic. Everything about this damn movie is fantastic. It is an amazing movie. And that's why Lethal Weapon comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have Commando. I mean, this is one of the first, well, no, it is the first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I ever saw in my life. And it is fantastic. It's glorious. I mean, what story could be better than a guy's daughter getting kidnapped and he's going to town, just, you know, going through hell and back to get his little girl back? I mean, what story could be better? I mean, it is just fantastic. It's a glorious, amazing story. The explosions in it are just off the wall, top tier, fantastic. The fight scenes are glorious. Everything about this movie is fantastic. It is an amazing, wonderful, entertaining movie. And yes, even Arnold Schwarzenegger does a good job of acting in it. And the villain in this movie, oh my God, he is just an amazing villain. I wish I could remember his name, but he's like the quintessential 80s villain, and it was just fantastic and glorious and amazing, and that's why Commando comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I mean, come on, there had to be at least one Andy Sedaris movie on this list, and it's Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I mean, come on. I mean, this is your 80s schlock action movie. It is your so bad it's good 80s action movie. I mean, this is by all means a bad movie, but it's so much fun to watch. It's so entertaining. It is fantastic, but it's still well made. I mean, it's just the acting that's bad and the writing that's bad. The sound quality, the special effects, some of the fight scenes are just fantastic. Not to mention they blew up everything in the kitchen sink. It's just glorious, the amount of explosions and the quality of explosions in this movie. And you're going to know if you're going to want to watch Hard Day at Hawaii just by watching the trailer. I mean, that'll tell you everything you need to know about the movie and if you want to watch it. It's a girls with guns movie. You know, attractive women in minimal clothing, shooting guns and blowing stuff up. And as that, it is fantastic. And that's why Hard Ticket to Hawaii comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Bloodsport. I mean, come on, this movie made the very top of my top 10 Jean-Claude Van Damme movie list. It had to be on this one, too. I mean, I have another Van Damme movie on this one. This Bloodsport had to be on this list, too. It's just fantastic. It's glorious. It's amazing. The fight scenes are just absolutely superb. And let's be realistic here. You're going to watch this movie for the fight scenes. You're most likely not going to care about the story or the acting or what's going on in it. You're going to watch it for the fight scenes, and they're fantastic and just glorious and just absolutely so much fun to watch. And not only that, not only are the fights in this movie absolutely amazing, but Forrest Whitaker is in this movie. Yes, Academy Award winner Forrest Whitaker, is in Bloodsport. And if I ever get a chance to meet him, I'm going to have him sign my Bloodsport DVD. That's a little off topic, but still, he's in this freaking movie, and it's fantastic, and it's glorious. The acting is good for what it is, but really, though, it's the fight scenes that are going to make you watch this movie, and they are absolutely stupendous, and that's why Bloodsport comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have Tracks. And let's be realistic here, this is not a movie to be taken seriously. This movie is a lampoon or a spoof of all the over-the-top 80s action movies at the time. You know, movies like Rambo and things like that. You know, you take them and it cranked it up to 11 and just made it absolutely absurd, and it was fantastic. Tracks is just an absolutely amazing movie, and it's a movie I recommend to everybody. It is just so much fun to watch. It's fantastic. It's glorious. It's hilarious. It's so entertaining. It is a wonderful movie, and it's a movie that would never be made today, and that's a shame, but it is so much fun to watch. It is an amazing movie, and that's why Tracks comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have Big Trouble in Little China. Let's just be honest, the character of Jack Burton is one of my favorite characters in movie history, and it's so much fun. He's such a fun character. I mean, he's one of those characters, in his mind, he's the hero of the movie. But in reality, he's more like the plucky sidekick who just bumbles his way through everything and survives because he's lucky. It's so much fun to watch. It's such a fun, entertaining movie. It's just absolutely glorious. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's easily towards the top of this list. I mean, this could have been 1 or 2. It was really close between this and my number 1 choice. It's such a fantastic, entertaining movie. I don't know why it doesn't get more credit than it does, because it's such a fun movie, and Kurt Russell just blows it out of the water. He does a fantastic job as Jack Burton. I don't think anyone could have played that character better. It was just so much fun to see. Such an engaging and entertaining movie, and that's why Big Trouble in Little China comes in at number 2. And my number 1 80s movie of all time is Robocop. I mean, come on, you had to see this one coming. Robocop is an iconic movie. It's a classic in the action genre. This is one of the most glorious movies of all time, and the practical effects, well, most of them, still hold up to this day. It's just fantastically, amazingly done. It's a glorious movie that nothing close to it will likely ever be made ever again. It's just so much fun to see. It's poking fun at the society as a whole. It's such a fantastic and glorious movie. It's just, I'm at a loss for words to describe how good this movie is. I don't have them. It is just absolutely amazing. Peter Weller just nails it as Robocop, just does an absolutely amazing and glorious job. Robocop is one of the best action movies ever made, and that's why it comes in at number 1. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel for new action movie reviews posted every week and top 10 lists posted on the 10th of every month. Also, if you have any recommendations for things you would like me to cover in the future, please leave them in the comments below and follow us on Twitter at explosions_TV. Thank you and have a nice day.